A great flood had occurred upon earth long, long, long ago. While earth was still covered with water, there were no living creatures upon the land. Then out of the sky one day, an enormous eagle, with a black crow riding upon its back, was flying, searching for a place to land. Around and around Eagle flew until he discovered a projecting tree stump, or what appeared to be one, upon which he could land to rest. There was a home at last, a flat surface, which was large enough for Eagle and Crow to rest upon. The sky was gorgeous. It was bright blue, with a few white drifting clouds occasionally swirled by a passing breeze. All seemed serene, at least to Eagle and Crow. There were small fish. They were visible below the water, sometimes leaping out of the sea playfully. Hunger caused Eagle and Crow to swoop down, catching a meal from themselves from time to time. Soon a game developed between the two birds to see which one would be the winner in the fish catching contest. Upon their return to the stump, however, they always shared that reward. Because of Eagle's great size and wingspan, he soared to great heights, as the two birds often flew in opposite directions exploring for land. But no land did they find. No other flying creatures did they see. But they always returned to their home base on the tree stump. Between them they wondered, how can we possibly think of a way to make land? We know we cannot dive deep enough to find dirt, and the fish are no help except to provide us food. Day after day, these scenes were repeated, exploring in search of land or wondering how to create land, or only to return to their stump to catch more fish. One morning soon thereafter, and much to their surprise, a duck was swimming around and around their stump. Occasionally it dived deep into the water, rose to their surface, chewing small fish, twisting its head from side to side, trying to swallow its meal. One time duck emerged with more mud than fish in its mouth. Eagle and Crow bird talked excitedly about this. Can duck possibly bring up enough mud for us to build land? They wondered. How could they let duck know that mud was what they needed most? An idea occurred to Eagle, which he bird talked to Crow. If we supply fish for duck, maybe he will bring up more mud than fish. By trial and error, the two birds caught fish for duck, placing them at the edge of the stump, until duck learned that the fish were for him in exchange for mud. When duck appeared on the surface after a deep dive, Eagle and Crow brushed off the mud from duck's bill and his body with their wings. Progress was slow, but it was steady. Gradually, Eagle had a pile of mud on his side of the stump, and Crow had a similar pile on his side. Each placed fish on his own side for duck, who now responded by carrying more and more mud to Eagle and Crow. This became a great game of fish and mud exchange. Duck worked very hard. Consequently, he was always hungry. The birds were surprised at how large each one's mud pile grew every day. In bird talk, they said, "Duck is helping us to make a new world. This we will share equally." Occasionally, Eagle and Crow flew towards the horizon, exploring for any new signs of land, but they returned with nothing new to report. However, they noticed a slight lowering of water around the tree stump. Surely the flood must be coming to an end, Crow and Eagle bird talked. Each day they watched for a change in the water line. Each day their piles of muds seemed higher and higher. Faithful Duck kept his good work as Eagle and Crow caught fish for him and scraped off mud from him for each side of the new world. Another time, Eagle flew high and far in search of dry land, not returning until late. The sun set in darkness in his new world on the stump. Next morning, to Eagle's surprise, he saw how much more mud had acquired, and he was pleased. But after looking across at Crow's mud pile, Eagle was astonished to see that Crow had given himself twice as much mud while Eagle was away. Was this crow's idea of sharing the new world equally? Accused Eagle. Of course. They questioned that all day for the next over crow's unfairness. But the following day, they went back to work making their new land. Eagle decided that he must catch up. He caught 2 fish for Duck and put them in his usual place. Duck responded by bringing up mud twice to Eagle in exchange for his 2 fish. All 3 worked very hard for many, many moons. Gradually, Eagle's half of the new world became taller and taller than Crow's half, even though Crow seemed to work just as hard as Eagle. Duck was faithful to his task, never tiring in his effort to supply mud. Of course, Duck continued to give Eagle twice as much mud for his 2 fish. Crow never seemed to notice why Eagle's half became higher and higher than his half. And one morning, as the sun rose brightly, the 2 birds looked down through the water and saw what appeared to be land. It was land. So that is where Duck finds the mud. They bird talked. They were pleased to see that the water was subsidizing. How they hoped that soon they would be high and dry on their new world. But all was not so easy, for that very night, lightning flashed across the waters, and thunders rolled and rolled from horizon to horizon, and it was followed by heavy, drenched rain. Eagle and Crow sought shelter in holes they dug into either side of their mud piles. All night long the rain continued to fall, washing away much of the new world into the sea. As the rain stopped, the sun rose. Eagle and Duck looked up upon the waters and saw an arc of many colors reaching from one edge of the horizon across the sky to the other horizon. This brilliant display held their eyes in wonderment. What did it mean? They marveled at how long the colors lingered in the sky. Eagle flew towards the scene for a closer look, returning when the arc had disappeared. In bird talk, Eagle and Crow decided that the storm of the night before must have been a clearing shower. They began their land-building project again, hoping that Duck would resume his work as a mud carrier. Soon the sun's rays burned strong and hot, packing their mud until it was hard, and Duck appeared, and the team of 3 continued to build the 2 halves of the new world. Day by day, the waters subsided, and new land began to show above the waterline, but far, far below the new created by Eagle and Crow. Eagle's half became taller and hard packed by the hot sun. Crow's share of the new world was still great, but never could become as large as Eagle's half of the new world. In retelling this creation story, historians always claim that Eagle's half became the mighty Sierra Nevada mountains. They also tell how Crow's half became known as the Coast Mountain Range. Historians tell tales by saying that people everywhere honor the brave and strong eagle, while Crow is the lesser place because of his unfair disposition displayed during the creation of the New World by Eagle and Crow. So this was the creation story of California creation story.